Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the third episode of season. Wait, is it 29 or 28, April? I'm forgetting. April's going to type in. No, it's 28. 28 seasons of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And again, that's just blowing my mind that we've been doing this show for a little over 9 years now. May 6th was our 9-year anniversary. So much has transpired, so much growth, all these different conversations that we've had to bring awareness of expansion, ascension, descension, kundalini, psychic readings, angelic realms, how to connect with our guides, and so much more. And again, there's so many of you who've been with me, who've been with us over these 9 years, and many that are new to the show. But I can tell you one thing that's for sure, that we've been true to the name. And every time we come on, we take it beyond the ordinary and elevate what's possible in the conversation and the energetics. And in the beyond the ordinary experience, the speakers we've had on from the past, they keep expanding and exploring and landing even more into an integral field of potentiality that is in alignment with the love that they're vibrating, and so much more. And I'm excited this evening to share with you one of my favorite people in the world. I've known her literally all her life, literally all her life. And it's such a treasure to have the gifts that she has developed over the years as I've seen her go through various metamorphoses in her own right, from a very connected child, from a very young age, into a path of discovery of what else is possible. And in the contraction, expansion, discovering who she is. And in that exploration, she's brought in a powerful tool that many of y'all are familiar with, but there's a purity of consciousness and intention that emits from someone who has nothing but the highest vibration of love for you, without judgment of what has been or what is to be. And Alina Burgos, and I say that name proudly, definitely amplifies that. So who's Alina? Well, first of all, Alina is my niece. I love her tremendously, but that's not why she's on the show. She's gifted. And again, that selfless love in the translation of how she can read for you through these guided tarot readings, which we're going to do a ton of today. If you guys want to have your cards read, raise your hand, because we're going to pretty much dive into that. So I'm hoping y'all take advantage of this. And then that perhaps you'll discover more about questions that you have, doubts, maybe bring clarity to something that you already knew, and be inspired in a way that you weren't before you got on the call, or excited in a way that maybe you haven't been able to touch, or adding to the excitement that's already there because there's another confirmation coming in supporting your creation. So again, it's going to be a beautiful call. I encourage you to raise your hand, ask for a reading. We'll get into it. Alina, when someone asks for a reading, I'm assuming we don't want to get into medical issues, what's happening. Like, what type of readings do you like to do? Like, how does that normally come up?
Yeah, generally for me, by the way, also, thank you for that beautiful introduction. That's the way you, I don't know, speak about me always makes me feel, I don't know, just so
seen.
Yeah, seen, correct. And also, yeah, it's empowering for sure. It's also wild to think that you've been orbiting, or you and this show specifically has been orbiting my life since such a young age, which, you know, I can only imagine has brought in, like, it's just brought in so much openness to me. You and I have been having these conversations from a very, very young age. From like, I remember like when I was 14 and you were like kind of just had just quit your job of like your 9-to-5 type deal, and you were like, I am looking for something more. And I remember having that shared language with you. And so yeah, it's translated, it's snowballed, and it's been really great. But anyways, for people when they're asking me questions for readings, I generally don't get into medical stuff. It just ends up all being like energetic. I deal mostly with like emotional issues and stuff. I'm super interested in I don't know, tarot is not necessarily a healing energetic practice like a lot of other like hands-on like Reiki, other things that will like go in and cleanse, right? Things that will kind of like move through you. Tarot is more of like an upkeep, a maintenance tool, something that we go to again and again to continually find our blind spots and to continually see what's coming to us or things from a different perspective. And the way that I integrate this tool into my life as a healing tool is that I allow the awareness that I get from the cards to just like come in and soften areas where I'm feeling stuck. And that's kind of been my main visual that I've been getting when I think about what is it that I want to talk about and what is it I'm going through in my life right now, actually. Is that when there are really hard feelings and moments, it just feels like there's like a closing off to outside help or to outside like spiritual energy, my guides, anything. And instead of like trying to force against that energy, to try and like break my way through with like forcefulness, aggression, those things, how can I use tarot as a tool to bring in gentleness, to bring in awareness so that I can soften the edges of it and allow it to become more flexible over time.
Beautiful. I love your explanation of that.
Yeah.
So wonderful. And I have to ask you, because again, you use tarot as a tool. It's a vehicle to tune into the guidance that you receive. It's spiritual guidance from higher awareness, but how you translate that for people who show up in sessions for you.
How do I translate that?
No, it's like you use tarot to translate that.
Oh, yeah.
For people that come in. And I'd love it if you just talk a little bit more about how that connection with your spiritual guidance, with the guides, with the however you receive that information, and then it's probably multiple ways.
Yeah, it like I honestly deal a lot with, before I like go into things with tarot clients too, I like to like sit and meditate with them for a little bit. And kind of like the first thing that I noticed when I started tarot is that when I started to get into meditations, meditating on specific cards, it would just be like light and color. And yeah, when I receive information from guides, it's really just a testament to the way that like art, I believe, like connects us to the spiritual and to the intuition, things that we don't necessarily like have names for all of the time. Art invokes feelings within us to be able to understand ourselves a little bit more. So like, yeah, I don't know, it's just, I grew up as an artist, as you know, and that was my main thing my whole life. And so it's just a really wonderful way to bring the two together and to be able to use one as a medium for the other. That's like that was the language I was speaking for most of my life, was like art and creativity. And so tarot is really wonderful because the guides get to like speak to me through the means of these like beautiful artistic images and symbolism in the language that I understand, and then I'm able to translate to others.
I love that. I love that. You pulled card for us. We met Alina in Los Angeles a few weeks ago, and she pulled cards, and they were so spot on. It was like, okay. And there were confirmations of card that I had pulled a day earlier, and very similar. And so tuning into the vibration and the energy, it's really a skill to get into the consistency, because from my playing around with different decks and I have an attunement to them, you just vibrationally call to the one that is in resonance for whoever you're reading for. And the accuracy is just, it's through the roof. It's really relevant. And it's not just the card, but also the interpretation and how it can apply for you in different ways without having to try to fit it into something that's a maybe, but just like allowing the flow of it to evolve and inform you as you're ready to receive the information. So it's beautiful, but also guide you along the way in a system of support and love. And Alina, again, I love this because I want to go ahead and get into the readings. And again, to answer, what type of questions do you like to receive? Do you want questions? Are you okay taking like, I don't know, what are you okay taking?
I think I'm okay taking, I haven't been asked a question by this audience that I was not okay taking. I'll say that.
Okay.
But yeah, I will, yeah, just like any question or no question at all, honestly, if you just feel called to have a card pulled for you. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super specific, but also, yeah, I don't know, where are you feeling stuck? Where do you need some release? Where do you need some excitement?
What's coming up? Yeah, what's happening in love? What's happening at work? Any of that.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. Y'all ready? Okay, we're going. And let's let Alina read for you. And then if you want more specifics on something she brings up, the special offer is a private session with her. Go deeper that way. So I really want to invite that there's no scarcity of time in being able to get the information that you want, and also to be in such flow that we give as many people as possible the opportunity to be in this energy. And I'm sure you're going to receive information through other people's readings that's going to be relevant for you. It always works out that way, which I love. So let's start. Yvette, let's get you to unmute, please. And you guys find your unmute button on your computer so that we can just roll through the questions. And I'm not going to rush you, but I want to be efficient again so we can get a lot of people in. So Yvette, did you find your unmute button? Yvette, your unmute button. There you are. Hi.
My sound is very bad. Can you hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit. Alina, can you hear her okay?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. You can try and ask the question. Maybe.
Yvette, try to fix your video. If not, type your question into the chat and I'll get to your question, okay? Thanks, Yvette. All right, Courtney, welcome.
Hello. Hello. I think okay. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you great. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. Well, I'm willing to just leave it wide open because I've changed everything in my life. I'm on a transformation of leaving my corporate career, leaving relationship, and starting everything over again.
Okay, cool. Let's just see what comes up then.
Okay.
This is so fun for me, by the way. I'm so glad you guys are showing. And I love this level of playfulness, right? And it's just, thank you for bringing that in, Courtney. It's that purity of heart and the openness and the willingness to, again, allow the guidance to come in. And to use what's right for you. You can discard the rest.
I love that you use the word playfulness. I did pull the playfulness card in my Angel Oracle deck this morning. Because that's really my in right now. That's my in to life, is playfulness, and everything else just like works out. So for you, Courtney, I drew the 8 of Swords. And this is talking about, so you see, I can't see myself, so hopefully you can see. But we have this girl and she's caught between these 8 swords, and she has this like red ribbon just like cast over her eyes. And basically what this is saying, especially with hearing that you're just like in this new phase, is that you're moving out of a time of clinging on to like bad habits and in old deceptions. This is a girl who cannot move out from that. She's just caught. And being at the end of the deck, where like this is the part of the cycle that this is in, she's about to move on into like this like self-expression stage. That's like the step after this card is more of like a self-expression and like a trust into like her own truth, her understanding, her intellect, and her knowledge. But at this point, this is just depicting that person who's caught in that deception and that bad habits and is not necessarily sure where to turn. So to me, this would be saying that like, this is where you've just come from. And this is a step that you've probably just completed, and that the ribbon is being cast off of the eyes is what that's saying to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You're stepping into understanding and being able to express your knowledge and your intelligence, like moving forward. Yeah.
Amazing.
I am letting go of a lot.
So Courtney, a question for you. How does it feel to have that confirmation of what you talked about before you got on the call?
It's really good because honestly, I left a corporate career of engineering, and I'm going into the energy realm of work now. So it's a big deal that I get that confirmation that I'm doing the work, and spirit is seeing it.
I love that. That's wonderful. And again, these confirmations, they're like these support systems along the way. And to receive that, again, that support, just that information of knowing that it helps your confidence, it helps your knowing, it gives weight to your intuition and your psychic side as to where you're heading.
Yeah.
Because there's so many things that want to pull us back, right? Or supposedly.
Yeah. The other thing that I wanted to say with this card is just that it also asks that in your like circle of people, if you feel like there's anyone in your life who was feeling more emboldened by that older version of you, if they felt more empowered around that older version of you than they feel in front of this version of you that you're moving in towards, just be like wary of that and be conscious of those people who seem, just more empowered by this like old habits, more like blinded version of yourself.
You're the second or third person that has mentioned that everyone's going to want me to stay who I was, and I have no intention of staying who I was.
Beautiful. Courtney, blessings to you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
Alina, I love doing this because I want you to pull a card for Sherry Murphy. Okay. Share, maybe it's Cher, but I think it's Sherry Murphy. Because she said so many people wanting the card, I'll just resonate with them all. So let's just surprise her.
For sure. We have, so it just flew out immediately, is the Knight of Wands. And the Knight of Wands, so I'm using my Star Spinner Tarot deck. It's very like fantasy. We have this knight on the back of this raven, I'm not sure. This golden crow is what I'm going to say. And the wands just depict action. It depicts moving forward, taking action, inspired action, creative enthusiasm, things like that. And the knight represents a certain amount of like boldness and charisma moving forward into action. So what I would say for Sherry is just like, if you think about embodying this like bold action energy moving forward. Like think about being the like charismatic knight that just like forges ahead into the battlefield. That's an energy that's like coming up for you or being called for you. And if there is like an energy of feeling indecisive, that you're being called to just like kind of like move forward and cut through that.
Beautiful. All right, there you go. There's more. And again, the special offer of Alina, it's a 1-hour session with her. So you go deeper, you pull cards. We'll get into the specifics of that in a little while. But again, there's a lot of resonance coming through. I know, I see her. I'm going to get to her in a little bit. Yvette, give me a second. I'm just guided to go live and I'll read your question in just a bit. But I'm guided to go to Carrie. Carrie, welcome. If I can get you to unmute, please.
Hi, John. You are a new experience for me. I'm so glad I found you and all of the people that you are now bringing into my life, all these amazing light workers. So thank you for pressing on and getting to this point. You're blessing me. And I had no intention of, I got off work early so I could be here just to watch the show unfold. But as soon as I signed in, a ton of energy came in. So I thought I'm going to just step out and see if my team wants to use you and your team to give me a message. So any card you pull would be amazing, Alina.
I love it.
Let's do it.
And you're getting Burgos tonight.
Burgos.
You're totally getting Burgos.
Weird. I got a jumper.
That one flew.
Oh, and Sherry writes that thank you. Amazing, spot on, sending love. So that's awesome.
I'm so glad.
Sherry, thank you.
So we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords for you, it did come out as reverse, but I want to read it both ways. The King of Swords is someone who just like takes pride in their ability to govern, to be an authority, to have leadership. They can be used as like an intellectual authority. Like people might want to come to you, a consultant. That's the word I'm looking for. People may want to use you as a consultant because you do embody this energy of like, I do have answers. I am someone who has answers. And then in the reverse position, it's just talking about getting really deep into places where you may have bias around maybe your ability to be a leader, around your ability to share your answers with other people. Like just really get in and study those biases that you may have, or just like those like preconceived notions that you have about yourself, and I don't know, like the power of your truth. Because the swords is really talking about, it's not just about intellectualism, it's not about just like knowledge, and it's about truth. So I would get into those places where you may have bias or just like something around your truth that may be blocking you from being able to embody that person who has the answers.
Thank you. I appreciate
Does that resonate for you?
Well, on many levels, it resonates. So yeah, big transformations going on in my life. So it could apply in several areas.
How does it feel to be stepping into your power, into the king position?
Well, I don't totally know what that means.
That's why I'm asking how it feels. Yeah. So you
you
can
know,
get to know it.
Like Courtney, my life had, I left a belief system that had been with me all my life, left a relationship that had been with me all my life, not feeling in resonance with my job, but it's a good job. So realizing, okay, I need to just keep stepping into, I want my entire life to be a life of authenticity with all of me. I want to be able to show up every day playing with all of me, not just the pieces of me that are wanted or needed. I don't know if that makes sense.
I love this.
So choosing, so now I'm at a spot of, okay, this job isn't in resonance with me, but that means letting go of security and then deciding what will take its place. And that has scariness with it. And a lot of people do come to me for wisdom, and I do have biases. So as you say that, I'm like, okay, are my biases limiting me choosing for me, as well as me allowing more people to be their authentic self? What we see is what we are. So, my blocks are, as I let myself be more true to me, then I can allow other people to be more true to who they are too.
Your blocks are pathways for what's opening up within you. And let's reframe the wording around that and go, oh, those are there, they serve their purpose. And then what's available on the other side of that, if you know the contrast. Because for me, Alina, and I'd love for you to add to this with your awareness of the energy that's coming from your spiritual guidance as well. But the king is also about sovereignty and cutting through with truth. And so all these things that you're talking about, reconsidering a job, reconsidering relationship, reconsidering different aspects of, that's really step into self-love and into a state of sovereignty that's in alignment with the integrity that you feel. Where else do you pick up on the king, Alina?
I think it really is, specifically because it was in the reverse position. I think that what you're talking about too, with this, like, you're coming away from a belief system. You may have, I think the bias that maybe needs to be uncovered also has to do with like, oh, you saw these people lead in a certain way. And now sometimes we can be afraid to like lead ourselves as well, or like take in a position of authority when we've, you know, historically seen authority be abused. And so I think that I think that a lot of us have certain feelings around like leadership and trusting, literally trust. It's like trust issues, trusting authority, even if that authority ends up being ourselves. So that's kind of what's coming through for me.
Yeah, feel your self-love, Carrie. The king tends to her kingdom. And it's right there for you. That energy is there to imbue confidence in the will. And what a gift. I love that came up. Carrie, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Of course.
Thank you for sharing your gift.
Right? Amazing. All right, we're going to go to Yvette now. So Yvette writes, whatever magic Alina can pull up from the cards. She's tried to troubleshoot her sound and no luck, but we don't need sound, Yvette. We got the resonance of LOVE here.
I can see you, Yvette. So nice to know that I see you, and I'm ready to pull some magic. I like the way you frame that question a lot. I always wait for them to jump out, so sometimes it takes longer.
I want you to pull a card from A on the show. That'll be fun. We'll do that later. I promise I'll put more time in because, you know, I allowed for me.
Right. When we're on Zoom calls, you can't take the deck away from me and start showing. It's so funny. Okay, so we have this. So we have the 5 of Wands. So if you see her, she's got all these wands behind her, and she's kind of like pulled into the fetal position herself. The 5s indicate, basically it's like the midway point in the cycle. And they often indicate the part of the cycle that is harder before it gets better, right? And so this card is basically kind of like affirming that like there may be chaos and there may be tension around you. But that there is what you need inside of you to be able to soothe, to be able to move through that, and to be able to give yourself like the love and the care that you need to calm through any type of storm that's like moving around you. That's basically what the 5s are saying. But it is like this like very natural piece of the journey. It's like stepping stone on the way to like moving towards this like maturing in your own process of whatever journey you're on, whatever path you're on. It's basically like the midway like hump that you have to get over is what that ends up being. So yeah.
Beautiful reading. When you pull cards, Alina, do you get a specific time frame? Was it like 3 months of the past and the current and 3 months into the future? It's like, what's the longevity of the card, depending on the question that's asked? Do you know?
Well, I mean, I don't think that that's really funny because I kind of just believe it's like every moment we've ever lived is, you know, it's all led us to this point. So it's like, I don't know, forever. But like but for this specifically, I am talking about right now, and however that ends up like resonating as far as like timeline wise, because this may also like things like this like chaos and tension, this may indicate that you're coming back and like healing an old hurt that has to do with like being surrounded by chaos and tension, right? It all depends on how it's resonating with you and where that's landing inside of you. So maybe it's not happening right in this moment, but maybe you actually have like the calm, the safety, and the love around you that you're able to finally deal with like old things that have happened, right? So it can indicate that as well. Yeah.
And we make it a personal journey. We really allow it to fit in and to evolve, and again, have that intimacy as the information comes through. So beautiful. All right, let's continue. Oh, I believe you know our next caller, Eileen. Eileen, welcome.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
it's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Something weird happened when John brought me up with the other panelists. I didn't see my name. I saw my grandmother's name.
Oh,
Her
wow.
name is Dora. And I mean, I've been having this eye issue, so I'm not exactly seeing clearly, but I'm looking at my name and I'm saying, but I'm not Dora.
Hmm.
And I'm just wondering if, well, we'll see what card you pull up, but why is my grandmother here?
I can answer that. It's because she loves you.
I know. But a lot of my relatives that are on the other side have been coming like crazy.
Hmm.
It's like, am I leaving?
Hmm. Well,
That popped out.
yeah, it did. That's okay. We got so many reversals. I think a lot of the thing, reversals are never a bad thing also. And I think like in this entire year is the year of the lovers. And it's an entire year about coming into harmony, coming into balance. So I think that's why there's all these like reversals happening. It's like we're literally dealing with all these things that are like asking to be aligned, like realigned, basically. Okay, basically, Eileen, this sounds very in line with like things we've talked about before. But so I drew the Eight of Wands reversed for you. This is usually talking about like really quick change, super like fast strikes of inspiration and inspired action. And in this reverse, what we're talking about is like there's just such a willingness and an urge to like move on to the next stage of whatever it is that is coming naturally for you, like this moving into the next stage of your goals. But it feeling like an uphill battle. Maybe it's not like striking like it's supposed to or like you want it to, but maybe like it's feeling like it's a little bit of a trudge. But there's like a restlessness and like a willingness, which is the most important thing to like grab onto in that is really like feeling into and meditating into on like the willingness to move forward and the willingness to like move into the next stage of what it is you're doing. And kind of like letting go of any maybe, I don't know, possible like impatience is what this card kind of usually depicts. How does that resonate for you?
It does, because I have been very impatient. And, you know, today was the first day in a while that I got inspired to continue writing this song that I'm writing called An Ode to Melancholy. And it's sort of a way of saying goodbye to that melancholy side. And I finally started writing it, and it almost sounded like I was writing something from Phantom of the Opera. And I'm going, what is this? But yeah, I mean, I feel like today I started to sort of move again. So yeah, that resonates.
That's
But
really,
I've been very impatient.
yeah. It's almost like when we get those moments where things actually start to like flow a little, it's like finding a crack in like in a dam, and it's been building. It's like it's almost like there's so much on the other side. You know there's so much on the other side. You know that like the water will come rushing out once it's like finally ready to break. But those moments when we can just like allow that like trickling in of like the flow and kind of like remembering how it feels again when we do get that movement.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to our reading together. It should be very interesting.
Awesome. Thank you, Eileen, for coming on.
John.
And y'all, again, the special offer with Alina is a 1 hour session. Again, we're going to get into more details. I'm going to take another caller. We'll get into the details of that. And then we'll open up to more Q&A. So again, we're going to continue on here. Donna, te gustes. Hello.
Hello, Alina.
Great to see you.
Thank you. It's great to be seen. I love your talent, Alina. And any card you would pick for me is, I'm sure, exactly what I'm supposed to have.
Let's do it.
Oh my God, I don't know which one of y'all are sweeter. That's crazy.
Okay, lots of fives popping out. So we have another five here. This is the Five of Cups. I have a very intimate relationship with this card because it's one of my strength cards. But the Five of Cups is actually talking about loss and grief. And the reason I like to say that it's a strength card is because the way that we can transmute that loss and that grief and our ability to deal with those moments of like darker times, darker sadness, or just there's this very authentic, real, and beautiful side of us that comes out when we've lost something. And being able to like tap into that and not judge it and not jump on it and try to snuff it out, but like allowing ourselves to get curious about ourselves in those moments, I think is really, really important. So whether this is maybe that there's loss or grief that's happened recently in your life, or if it's maybe something that's like coming back or you're having memories or something, I would just urge you not to be afraid or get frustrated, I guess, because I think that that's sometimes the instinct with those specific types of feelings. But that, you know, your higher self is like really solidly holding you and has stuff to teach you in that space specifically.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
What a beautiful reading, Donna. Thank you so much for coming on. I can feel that coming through. Wow. Blessings to you, love.
Thank you.
Okay, before we get into a special offer, Maggie, please, what card message do I need to know right now? I usually listen to the replays, but today I felt really called to listen live. So Maggie, thank you for listening. Thank you for being on here live. It's wonderful to feel you on here.
Ooh, girl. We got the King of Cups.
Wow.
So the King of Cups is talking about fantasy, illusion. This is the kind of like almost like the more masculine embodied energy of what it's like to allow your fantasies to come in, and yeah, to be so, I don't know, in tune with your emotions that you're also so extremely in tune with your desires and your fantasies. And so maybe if you haven't had a lot of that energy, or if you're beginning to feel that energy come in, I would take time to fantasize. I would take time to daydream, to get into your desires, and to really just like let your mind go where it wants to go. Because that's a really wonderful way to tap into your emotions as well. Yeah, a large part of us lives in our like deepest desires. I don't know. So, King of Cups. Awesome.
All right, we'd love to get a general message. There's so many people. You guys want messages. We're going to get some more messages. I want to get into your special offer again, 1 hour with you, and I want to go through the explanation, but I want to call on Pat first. Pat, can I get you to unmute? Yes, you.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's great to see you.
So I'd love a card reading. Waiting for the message. Sounds good.
Just anything. Okay, great. I'm so glad I get to pull a card for you because I remember you on the last call too.
Oh, wonderful. It's so wonderful to be with John. Yeah, I enjoyed.
Thank you.
Okay, we have the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is basically talking about a time where you've gone through kind of like an emotional journey. Journey specifically relating to you being open to your emotions and allowing them to just kind of like flow through you. And the part of the cycle that you're in with that specifically is ready for you to begin to express yourself in bolder ways, to really like take your emotions and allow yourself to kind of like turn outward and allow there to be like a physicalized expression in the physical plane. It's our beautiful like Swan Lake. You can see her. She's like performing her first night is how I imagine it. And she's just like leaving it all out on the stage. And yeah, I think that's that message for you.
So just to allow my emotions, that's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, allow your emotions forward, but also find new ways to express yourself.
Okay.
And to allow other people to see you when you're embodying your emotion as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for the message.
Thank you, Pat. It's
Thank
great
you.
to see you. All right, y'all. We're gonna get into more readings. We're still gonna do a lot more. And April, type it in again if you don't mind. In the chat box, there's a link for the special offer. And you can also find that page by opening up a new browser if it's easier to do that, and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com, then do your little / thing, right? Alina, ALINA 28. It'll take you to that same page that is on the link in the chat box, or you can click on the chat box. I think that's probably easier, but just in case, I wanted to give that to you. And then it'll open up the offer. Super simple, but you can get it when I'm reading with Alina. For Alina, what does that mean? So we've got 3 to 5 minute mini readings. What happens in an hour?
Yeah, in an hour, basically, so the last time I did Beyond the Ordinary as well, I kind of like came up, I tune into like y'all as an audience, and I come up with like a basic structure for the reading. It's usually around like 6 cards. We get into like what's pushing you forward, what's pulling you back, like what do you need, what do your thoughts need to be focused right now? And basically the point is to just like move through blocks, like to bring in release, to bring in space, openness, and expansion into something in your life that just like needs energizing. And so, yeah, you and I will just like get to talk for a little while. We'll get to meditate for a second, and we get into your messages, and then I'll take you on a little guided visualization if you so wish at the end of the reading as well.
So it's deep. And what happens in the readings for me also is they tend to be amplifiers of an energy that's coming through. So even if I'm receiving intuitive hits or knowings from different places, and again, when Alina pulled cards for me and Angela a few weeks ago, the cards were so confirming. And so what that does in the confirmation, it really allows the limiting mind, the wounded ego, to kind of go, oh, hold on a second. I keep getting the same information. I keep getting consistency that I wasn't getting before. I'm learning to tap into that synchronicity using these different vehicles. And as we're all going through these periods of ascension, as we're all like vibrating at this higher resonance organically, the synchronicities show up more often, and we notice them more than we ever noticed them before. So again, tarot and someone with the compassion and empathy and non-judgment that Alina carries, it's just such a beautiful tool for those confirmations to really amplify what's showing up for you as well. So it's, again, it works in so many different ways for me, but that confirmation over and over again from science, it's powerful. And again, it subsides the anxiousness, the nervous system that wants to hold on, allows you to breathe deeper into an inspired path rather than threatened with fear or doubt in ways that you don't have to if the science keeps showing up and confirming for you. So it's beautiful. So y'all, and I have to read this that came in, and yes, of course, Susan Messick wrote in, and Susan, you had a reading with her. I'll listen to Alina on your first show. Let me read this correctly. I listened to your first show with Alina, fabulous in parentheses, and booked her special offer as a result. Anyone tempted to do it, it's fabulous. So high recommendation that's coming from Susan. And then Susan's asking if you can pull a card for her as well. Can Alina pull a card for me tonight to see if there's any guidance on the transition I'm currently going through?
Yes, I can pull a card for you. Yes, Susan. Okay, the transition. Let's see. We have the 7 of coins. 7 is sevens are some of my favorite cards because this is the piece of the cycle that is like the teenager piece. It's like I am feeling rebellious. I am in my maturing phase of whatever it is that's happening on your path right now. And it's talking about like you've done enough work in this like new path that you're on and in this cycle that you're in to know what it is that you want and to bring in new things. But now it's time to like look forward and begin to make like long-term investments. How can you invest in yourself long-term and moving forward? How can you seek to find consistency and like stability within this new path that you're going down moving forward? So it's basically saying to plant those seeds, to begin to plant those seeds so that you can continue to reap the benefits moving forward. Yeah.
All right, beautiful. There you go. All right, let's continue again. We're churning through these today. Dragana, let's get you on here tonight. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello,
you hear
there
me?
you are.
Hi, John. Hi, sweet Alina. We spoke once. I don't know if you remember. It was the call that didn't want to happen.
Oh, right. Yes.
Dragana, you've muted. Can you unmute yourself?
Better?
There
Okay.
you go. Yeah, we got you. So what's your question for
I'm
Alina?
not gonna, yes, just pull a card for me. What is the best direction for me at this moment? What is the message?
So funny. The song that comes to my mind is "Girls Just Want to Have Fun," Cyndi Lauper. It's
That's a good
so
message. I should
interesting, right?
That's already your. Let's have some fun. Okay. Wow. So we have 2 very opposite energies that just pulled out for you. There were 2 cards that came that just kind of flew. And we have death, and we also have the 10 of cups. So it sounds like it would be romantic in nature, this message for you, but it may not be. It could be pertaining to something else in your life. So however it resonates for you. But we have the death card. So something may be coming to a close and asking that you use whatever is left behind from that to be able to lay the foundation for this new cycle, moving into a new cycle. But that there is like an ending that is happening, that's being ushered in. And then the 10 of cups is literally like the card of like everlasting love. We've made it. It's depicted, there's a marriage happening on the front. And it's basically talking about like long-lasting love, happiness, and like happy home, happy life. Usually it's like the cups are like in the air, like a big ring, you know? So it sounds to me like something is ending so that there can be more openness to all of those like loving, good, overwhelmingly joyful like emotions in your life. There may be something that needs to come to a close in order you may experience those in a new expanded way.
Okay, it makes sense. It's just I have the same situation of something ending. It was supposed to end both romantically and business. And it's like, it's not happening, it's not ending, but it will. So I should relax into the ending. Thank you very much. I know you have lots of calls. I don't want to keep you any longer. Love from me. And talk to you again. I just, you'll hear from me again.
Okay.
Right. Dragana, thank you. And again, these are one of these synchronicities that I'm talking about. We feel something transitioning. We feel there's an expansion on the other side. And just because something transitions, it doesn't have to be good or bad. It can be both. It can be one or the other. and whatever healing is happening for that. But then the fruitfulness of the 10 of Cups, there's so much abundance as well. So again, what a great confirmation for something that you know is transitioning, and what you read for Eileen, you know, that part about patience and all that. And as these signs show up, it's, for me, it's like, oh, let us hold you for a little bit longer. We know that you wanted it to happen yesterday, but it's all happening in your divine timing. And here's yet another sign, another message, another bit of guidance to hold you and support in that. So it's so wonderful. Alina, when you're pulling cards, are you tuning into, for example, like Dragena's guides? Are you talking to your guides? What's the mix of communication there for you?
I basically tune into my guides like before I hop on the call with you. So like I call everyone into the room with me before I get on like a tarot call, and that's where I move from initially. But yeah, every time I like close my eyes and begin shuffling, then it's like I'm fully just like trying to connect, like merge energies, honestly.
Beautiful.
With whoever it is. So sometimes people will get a card and be like, oh, I know exactly who that's from on my team. Like, I know exactly what that's about. Like that is a voice that I have heard many times. And sometimes it'll just be a straight up mirror, you know, depending on whether or not that person is in presence with their guides too. Maybe it's like, maybe it's just them. Not that it's ever just us, right? But like, and in those cases, it ends up just being like, okay, well, this is exactly what you're giving me. This is exactly what your energy is right now. And I don't think one is more helpful than the other. I think it's all absolutely
divine. Absolutely. All right, Dragana, thank you so much. All right, let's go to our next caller. Kathy, let's go to you. Kathy with a K. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can. Welcome.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, there's been a couple of things I'd like, but I'm just gonna wait and see what comes through and take the message that I need to know the most at this time.
So we have the 9 of Coins. This is like serious Virgo energy, in my opinion. This is a lot of earth energy. Basically what this card is talking about is getting through a growing season and making it to like the harvest period. So the 9 of Coins, she's done all of her work. She's very meticulous, but at the same time, she is meticulous and specific and hardworking and in order to get to the harvest specifically, she always has her eye on pleasure, right? So she puts in all of this work. She puts in all of this work in the growing process, but she never takes her eye off of like the pleasure of what the harvest is going to bring, that she like set the table for her family and her friends afterwards and have like a big feast. And so this did come out in the reversed, which is why I'm telling you all that. So what this is telling me is like, maybe there needs to be a little bit more focus on some pleasure. Why is it that you're doing the things that you're doing? If it has to do with work, and often it does when it comes to coins, it has to do with career and finances a lot. How can you keep your eye on what it is that brings you pleasure throughout this process of dealing with your finances and with your career? That will just like bring in so much more expansive energy into those places that you're really putting a lot of your energy into right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, some things resonate, and yeah, I definitely need more play, fun, pleasure.
That's awesome. Alina, will you do me a favor? Will you hold up the card quickly for me? Because before Alina even pulled the card, the first thing that I heard is you already know. You already know. And so the owl for this, the wisdom.
Wisdom, right.
In this card, it points to the fact, and again, the coins are about abundance and what you've lined up. Again, the meticulous way that you've organized, the wisdom as well. And for me, it's also it's a time to lean into that wisdom, the abundance of it, to know that it's guiding you along the way. It's very strong for me. Before she even pulled a card, that's what I received. So there's something, I love it. It's so perfect.
Thank you, both of you, really.
Thank you, Kathy. All right, let's continue. Again, the special offer, a 1-hour session. There's different ways that you're going to do the tarot. Do you do different spreads, Alina? Do you do long-term, past, present? Do you do what's?
Yeah, it honestly depends person to person. I'll always like go over the spread that I'm thinking once I've like seen what it is that's inspiring you to get a reading right now. And based on that, we choose specifically.
I love that. I love that it's not fixed. I love how you flow. You are a Burgos. It's true. It's you've been
go with the flow.
All right, let's go to another caller here. Suzette, let's go to you. Hi, Suzette.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. Okay, so I was just going to get you to pull a general card, but while I was listening, I thought, no, let's go specific. So we have a group of life changers here today. I thought that was quite interesting, that energy of everybody making huge change. And I was really excited about all the changes I've been making. And then my question is, now I'm just feeling a little like, what was I thinking? So my question to the card is, what do you think about what I just took on? And do I keep going, or what does the cards have to say about what I've been doing?
First of all, we're all same. But yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so what you just took on is basically your rebalancing. So this is, like I mentioned earlier, this is the year of the lovers. And so the reason why everyone is like going, I'm like, the reason, and I know why everyone is because we're all just like trying to rebalance. And a lot of times, if we're feeling really out of whack, or we're feeling like we really are on one extreme, we kind of like, the pendulum swings, and we kind of like have to even out that energy by moving so much in the opposite direction. But throughout the course of this year, there may be some pendulum swings, but eventually there will be less earth-shattering type evening out happening. But you're rebalancing. This is very much a confirmational reading of like, it's okay. Don't think like, what on earth have I done? What you've done is you've tried to bring the two different types of energies within you into alignment with one another. And that's
and that is so funny that you would pick that card, because over the last 48 hours, I felt my biggest struggle was a struggle of duality from a perspective of like, right, John? A perspective of that success we've all gotten from the masculine energy of being organized and structured and routined and all this, right? Yet we all have that inner feeling towards the feminine side as well, and those strengths. And because I tend to be a little disorganized with paperwork stuff, and everything I took on just became too much, I was forced to listen more, feel more, really tap into my feminine side. And I realized how really strong and powerful I am, which got me really excited. But I still have felt really drained, exhaustion from, I think I still need to do all the paperwork. So it's been kind of like, could I go through my life without any paperwork from this day forward? But you say that balance. So it just makes so much sense to me, because it is what I've been feeling into. Even though it feels too much, I feel like I need a lot of change to keep me excited. And then I land into my comfortable change from there. So
there was also the Four of Wands that got pulled as well with it. So this is saying like it's okay to have a party. It's okay, it's okay to have a party. It's okay to celebrate. If you're really feeling like you don't force I don't know. I don't believe in the energy of like forcing ourselves to do something.
No.
I believe in the energy of like loosening up ourselves enough to be able to become willing to do the things that we don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah.
this is talking about like celebration and homecoming. And think about it as like coming back to that like feminine piece of you, or that like more loosey goosey part, or the part that's wanting to play or to celebrate. It's a homecoming, coming home to yourself. You deserve a party. So you can take a minute to do that. You know, that's ultimately what's going to help you loosen up to be able to do the other more things.
Oh, very good. I just love that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can I give you a process to maybe practice? And if you sign up with, I'm sure Alina's going to lead you through a process of meditation as well. And this is for anybody on the call about merging the feminine and masculine aspects. And where it's not work, where really it's the celebration of the merging. And really give yourself the time with closed eyes and breath to see the masculine aspect of you and the feminine joining hands and celebrating the sovereign union of the two and coming together in the devotion that they are committed to for one another. And do it with the energy of celebration, with joy, with exhilaration, with expectation of what they're birthing together as one through you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That just touched my heart there. I never thought of that image, but that's so beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
It brings balance into the energy. It brings simplicity to some of the chaotic energy, which is really strong and amplified as we all raise in vibration and the awareness of this. So to be able to ground that in through your being allows for the clarity that we can bring in your masculine to do the paperwork. You can bring in the feminine to support and soften the judgment, where you can build together through the stable foundation of the two rather than through the pulling or pushing of the one in a silo. Yeah, bring back your power. It's a beautiful process I invite you into.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suzette. All right, let's continue. Bridget, no, let's go to Moani Girl. I'll get to Bridget in a second because I scrolled past the message. Moani Girl, just a name like that, I had to call on you. She wants to know if you can pull a card for her in her love life. She wanted to visualize becoming a goddess, but she's not sure that's even possible. But can you pull a card for me in my love life?
Yeah. Okay, so we have the 10 of Wands. So sorry, I'm tripping up because I'm like blushing. 10 of Wands, honestly, the first message that came to me is that you need something that you haven't had before, is that you need something new, that that like what it is in the past has just like, that sounds obvious that like what it is hasn't worked, so you need something new, but it's like you need something like more you need a different flavor. As like sweetly as I can say this. So we have this like 10 of Wands. Basically what is happening here, there's this like little girl on a mushroom and she looks like sad. She looks like downcast because she has like grown all of these sunflowers around her, but they don't need her anymore. They don't really like need her to like look after that anymore. They can manage on their own. So maybe you've like grown a lot of like amazing things in your life that like don't need you to look after them anymore. And now it's your love life that like needs your attention. And you're having to like move into a new project where like you are needed. And I think what wants your attention is moving into a new space of like desiring, like what piece of my desires has never been satisfied before, and moving towards that. Yeah. what new flavor do you need to throw into the mix to be able to like find inspiration and enthusiasm again for your love life, you know?
Beautiful. There you go, Monty girl. I love it. I love that new. Yeah. You know, the mantra that came in for me at the beginning of the year, and things have evolved since that, and it showed up in miraculous ways that that I didn't anticipate. But at the beginning of the year, the mantra was that when good enough isn't good enough anymore. And that speaks to me. It's like, okay, I've had these experiences, not that they're not wonderful and all that, but there's a resonance in that as you evolve and explore, the tendency to go back to what we've known and the comfort of that doesn't necessarily always support us. And with love and reverence for it, we can say, but what else is possible? What else is available? Can those past situations resonate up and grow with us? Absolutely, always. The door is always open. But it's your job to ask and to dare, to be willing to step into something new and see where awe and wonder waits for you there. It's such a beautiful invitation. I know you've had that experience, Alina. I certainly have. And the biggest regret I believe that we'll have if we don't try at the end of our lives is just exactly that we didn't try. So try it out. I promise you will land on a feather bed. It's what the saying is. So beautiful. Okay, let's get into another caller here. I want to pick on everybody. Okay, let's go to Darcel. Darcel, welcome. When I say pick on you, I kind of mean pick on you as well, just so just be prepared.
Thank you, John and Alina. This is kind of my first live call too, so this is kind of exciting for me.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you. I guess just what's for my best and highest good, and yeah.
Let's do it. Another jumper. So we have another 9 of Cups. This is also asking you to move outward with your emotions, to allow yourself to be expressive to the people around you, to find new ways to express yourself and put yourself out there. So yeah, the 9 of Cups is, you know, you've done that emotional journey. You're on an emotional journey where you're trying to be able to be open to your emotions, allow them to move through you, be open to them, not block anything from coming up, right? And now you're probably being like faced with the task of having to show those emotions to other people, having to express yourself. That could also mean like creatively, you know, the cups are not just all about emotions, it's also about creativity and art, which like kind of, you know, almost the same thing, honestly. And I think that it's all comes from the same place, right? So whether that is artistically, if that's a way that you want to express yourself emotionally, or with words, or how can you just show more of yourself to the people around you, or even just like in the space around you, you know? That's the card that has for you. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. I want to say like 10 different things, but I'm guided not to. It's like you've so got it. So blessings to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love that.
Love you. Thanks.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's get into James Leonard wrote in. So I already signed up for another session with Alina, highly recommended, but I need to sign off and we'll watch the rest on the replay. Would love a card to help me understand my role right now within my family. Relationships are great with my wife, son, and daughter, but all in interesting shifts and transitions. Anything that might come through would be appreciated. Love the Burgoses. Me too.
Good people. Hi, James. So a lot of you guys are actually getting some like the same cards over and over again.
Wow.
That is, I think that makes sense because when we come into a space like this, basically what we're asking for is messages for all of us. You don't know it, but when you ask a question, you're not just asking it for yourself in this space. Other people are having similar questions and feeling guided in the same way. So anyways, James, I pulled the Knight of Wands, which is that like your space in your family, it sounds like, is probably that you're being like looked to as someone who is really like decisive and bold and really like action oriented and moving forward. Someone who like, I'm getting the message that like you have no idea what it means for your family to be able to see you in an inspired state. You have no idea what it means for them to be able to witness you being enthusiastic about something you're doing and about something you're trying or about a decision that you want to make. And that like, I don't know, just like the reactiveness and the responsiveness to like inspiration that you have is really, really powerful in your family structure. Message I'm getting.
Beautiful. James, thank you so much. And I'm excited for your session with Alina. Y'all, the special offer link, April, put it in the chat box again. Again, the 1 hour is $97. There's a 2 payment option. And you get extra doses of Burgos as a bonus. It's amazing. No, really. And I just say that tongue in cheek, but really into what a gift and the energy that you're going to be submerged in. And you're getting a glimpse of that here. But also the inspiration and wisdom that comes from a woman who sits in front of you who looks young, but whose soul is from eons of experience.
You've been telling me since I was like 4.
I know. I've been feeling it since you were born. So it's so beautiful. All right, let's go to another caller. Colleen, welcome. And Colleen, let me get you to unmute. Did you find your unmute button?
Is that better?
Hey, it's much better when you're unmuted. Yes.
Yeah. I'm actually, I've made a lot of bad financial decisions recently, and I'm kind of leery about moving forward into the future now. Is there can you pull a card just to maybe give me some direction?
Definitely. So we have the Strength card that came out. And what I really love about the Strength card is that it often has more to do with patience than it has to do with like our typical understanding of what it means to be strong. In my deck, it's called Fortitude. So I'll show you that picture.
Cool.
And really what this is asking is, it's asking, this is a very, very clear message for what you just described to me. Moving forward, the direction that you need to take is being patient with yourself and gentle for any past mistakes that you've made. Honestly, that is the next step moving forward. And strength, what it implies is like, I get the visual of like, if you're waiting to win over the trust of a lion, and what you want the lion to like come and sit in your lap, say, you're not going to put other things in your lap. You're going to like keep your lap open for the lion to come and sit down, you know? So you're not just like taking, I don't know, substitutes that aren't as gratifying. Strength is literally having the patience to be able to wait for what it is you want specifically. And in this reverse position, It's just saying that like you need more patience with yourself than you've been giving yourself recently.
Oh, wow, that really resonates. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's probably the thing that I'm maybe struggling with a little bit, just being patient with myself. And while I am moving forward. So that really resonates. Thank you.
Of course.
Patience. Colleen, I want to invite you into more love even as well.
Yes.
Patience, compassion.
For
And
myself.
for
Yeah.
yourself, compassion for yourself. Because you
Yeah.
want to move forward so quickly. And that compassion part is to remembering where you came from and to gift yourself the credit of the journey that you've traversed to get to this place where now you're in the patience mode, not just survival mode. Now that you're in
Yeah.
awareness mode and expanding your love, but also reflecting back on the Colleen that was. And again, giving her a lot of love and thanking her for her strength, her resilience, her patience in the journey.
Yeah, that almost makes me want to cry.
Oh,
Thank you. That
yes.
was so beautiful. Thank
Well,
you.
you're beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks.
So lovely. Can you pull a card for me, Alina?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Awesome. Alina's going to pull a card for me. And I'm still going to call on more of y'all. So there's more coming.
This has felt like a little like it's giving sleepover vibes is what this is giving. Like, ooh, tell me this, tell me that. And it just makes me
One of my favorite stories, and I probably shared this on the last call, was, and it was bittersweet. Mom was transitioning. She was in her last days before she passed away. I was about to start a BTO call. And Alina was in the room, my mom and my daughters and my brother and my sister-in-law, and they were pulling cards and they're interpreting them, and they were all into it. And I just smiled and just like, God, my family's come such a long way. It was such a beautiful moment for me. Yeah, so beautiful.
It was fun because basically my parents haven't always understood the tarot really, and we all were just passing around cards and they was like, well, how do you even read them, and so we all took cards and I was like, what does this mean to you? I'm not going to tell you the words. And I was like, you tell me what this means to you. What do you think it's saying? And we were all just like passing around cards being like, I think this is saying blah 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 blah. And it was a load of fun.
It was awesome. It was so awesome how open and expansive and loving that space was.
It was.
Yeah, so thank you for that gift.
Yeah. So the card I pulled for you was the Lovers, the one I just showed you. Yeah, so I'm just never gonna stop pulling this card for everyone and also you specifically. But yeah, and I have a bunch of different Lovers cards in this one. This is specifically dealing with like a lot of the feminine energy as well. But there's this harmony, duality, what's coming back into balance in your life. And at this moment, like what adjustments are you making so that balance can be either restored or maintained? Yeah.
Beautiful. Spot on. Thank you for that.
Synced.
Spot on. All right. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. I think everybody that's on video has been called on. No, not everybody. But let me see. We're running late too. Okay, let me take another video caller here. Chantel, let's go to you. Welcome.
Hello. I was about to give up here. You called me, so
well, welcome.
I'm trying to. I do tarot myself, but I do just use one card, and I just finished reading the book "Living Untethered" by Michael Singer, and he said that and I thought he said the way to liberate your block energy is by transmutation. So I was wondering what the card has to say with that. I feel I am liberated, but I'm keep searching where I don't need to search anymore. And then I picked that card today. So I want to confirm. I picked the Page of Wands today. It's all about being discovery and daring and things like that. I just want a confirmation tarot card that yes, I am liberated already. I don't need to search anymore. And I've been transmuting it through my 40 years of meditation experience. So that's what I want to know. If I can stop now searching.
That's wonderful.
So this came out immediately. I did like one shuffle and it came out. So we have the 10 of coins, and yeah, this is a completion card, is what this is talking about. It's talking about being comfortable enough in your life and your resources. So what you're talking about is like your spiritual resources, right? Like that comes from within. This is talking about feeling comfortable enough in those resources to be able to retire, basically, to retire or to begin to like pass on your legacy to anyone who doesn't have this information, who doesn't have the feelings that you have, the liberation that you're talking about, right? So I have this man sitting with his golden retriever, and behind him is basically like this estate that he's created for himself. So if you look at that, think about that as like, you have created this whole like inner world that is so extremely abundant and rich and stable. And now you can think about passing that down and allowing, I don't know, your gifts, your knowledge to help others be liberated as well. And also have all of the resources that you need to like start whatever projects you want to start. You don't have to like you're saying, you don't need to like necessarily search so much anymore. You can just.
Yeah. And actually I am retired because I'm 67. So, but like I said, yeah, maybe that's the only thing I'm still searching. What do I do with all that? So I just don't know yet. So I'll let maybe the synchronicity speak to me, maybe.
Yeah, whatever you desire, honestly.
Yeah.
I would feel into the energy of like desire, literally like within your body. And I would think about like what comes up, or is there something that also makes you feel that way in your day-to-day life? Literally like what invokes desire and like wanting and attraction for you, and just move towards those things. We get caught up, what should we do? And it's like, well, what do you want to do? You know, what makes you happy? What's your greatest desire at this point?
What makes me happy is just to be happy inside. I look at the world and I feel like I'm in the world, but not of this world. Like nothing really, I don't really desire anything as such. As long as I am happy inside, I just take one day at a time. That's all I have right now. So thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful, Chantal. And for everyone on the call, it's, we get this question a lot on the show. In the membership, people writing in emails, looking for support, looking for private sessions. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do next. I know something's coming, but I don't know what to do. And that quandary. And Alina nailed it. And I want to elaborate on it just a little bit from my perspective. If you don't know what to do, you do. Be in love. Perform an act of love for another or for yourself. Rejoice in the energy of the abundance of love that you already have within you, and allow that abundance to be met in resonance. When the mind takes over and I don't know what to do and I have to struggle and I have to work for it, you'll do the things that you need to do to align, but then we can let go and let God.
Yes.
And get into the vibrational accord that is your love. When you get so confused and so in your mind that you're beating your head up against the wall of, I don't know what to do, I don't know what's next, give yourself that coffee break. Go pet a dog, go to a shelter, go buy somebody a cup of coffee, or a stranger at the coffee shop a cup of coffee. Give someone a compliment. Be in that act of creation And that not knowing will dissipate. And it's like, I don't have to know now. I'm in my joy like you are, Chantel.
Yeah.
I'm in my inspiration of love, and that will guide you everywhere that you're supposed to go, I promise.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chantel.
Thank
It's
you.
such a beautiful inspiration.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all,
Okay.
we're going to have Alina back. We have to, as long as she agrees to come back on. You know how family things go sometimes. Just kidding. We'll have to have Alina back. We'll just do it, but we're already at 90 minutes and we went through a lot of calls, and the special offers available. Y'all take advantage of that. $97 an hour of Alina. Go deep into what's coming through in the messages. So many testimonials already on the chat box as far as the sessions are concerned. And Alina, this is so much fun doing this with you. And I am really just, oh, what words can I use? My heart is just so huge, just being able to receive the transmission of you in this capacity. Yeah, and it's so wonderful and such a gift. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I want to like praise your just everyone, the like audience that you've amassed is like everyone that I've met from Beyond the Ordinary has been so open and loving and kind and wonderful. And I've received literally just as much as I know that I'm like, I may be doing the reading for you, but you guys are giving to me in a huge way every time I get to interact with you. I've never met such like open, wonderful people before. So the community here is wonderful.
Well, as are you. They would have to be on this call with you. So thank you for what you do, for how you're doing, and the love that you just see it all over everywhere you put your intention into. And that goes for everybody on this call. Thank you for the inspiration and the seeds of love that you're planting into the collective with your intention. It is beautiful. Thank you for being you. I bow to each and every one of you. Namaste. And with that, I send you all my love and look forward to seeing you on the next call. Y'all have a great evening.